Hi everyone, Jen Pike here, founder of the Simplicity Project and the creator of SimplicityTV, another DIY project from my home to yours. This one is all about doing oil pulling. So this has been, this has been going around for years, but I think probably in the last couple of years, there has been way more attention brought to the practice of doing oil pulling. Mainly people do this first thing in the morning by putting coconut oil into their mouth, either plain or with an essential oil, and swishing for anywhere from 10 to 15 and the upwards of 20 minutes. Now, why would you need to do something like this? Well, there's some pretty incredible benefits. Coconut oil in and of itself has got a lot of antibacterial and antiviral and antiseptic properties to it. So by swishing in through the mouth, it's helping to cleanse and to purify and detoxify what's going on in your gums and in your teeth, also to help to cleanse the tongue and the palate as well. And so when you're swishing all of this around, it's working its way through. It's going to help to reduce gingivitis, halitosis, which is chronic bad breath. It'll actually help to improve your digestion over time as well too, because that coating, if you've got that thick white or yellow coating that's sitting on the tongue, it is definitely a sign of an inhospitable bacterial environment, mainly yeast and candida. So this can be one of the practices that you do every day, very inexpensive, very easy to do to help to combat that and to create more ease in your body. That being said, because I have gone back and forth with this many, many times. I mean, mainly, and I'll be honest with you, it's because I have kids that are with me in the morning. I can't not speak. Wait a second, I'm onto something here. I should do this every single morning, so I cannot talk to them and they have to figure things out on their own. I think I'm going to change some things moving forward after this segment. But that's always been my excuse, is that I've needed to communicate, get your shoes on, brush your teeth, do all of those things, so I haven't had the time to swish. But in the last 10 days, I've started to do this religiously, and I'm telling you, I've noticed a very big difference in how my mouth feels. I've noticed a decrease in any type of cravings for anything sugary or more decadent. So I'm going to share my recipe with you that has created more simplicity around this practice. I've got a mold here. This is actually a Christmas mold that I've used to make chocolates before, and it's of little Christmas light bulbs. When I use the silicone molds, I always make sure that I put a hard, flat surface, because I'm gonna have to transfer this to the fridge or the freezer. And when you've got liquid in here trying to pick it up like this, you can imagine it's gonna be an absolute disaster. So we're gonna make chews. This is what I have sitting here in my mason jar, are all of these coconut oil pulling chews that I've cut up into various sizes. In the summer months, you have to keep these in the fridge or in the freezer. You can't have them in your bathroom because it'll just end up being all soupy. So what I did is I've taken some coconut oil. I did about 3/4 of a cup of coconut oil. And this will give me enough chews to last me for a couple of weeks. So 3/4 of a cup to a cup of coconut oil. And then I'm gonna do 20 drops of peppermint oil. So I've melted my coconut oil down, and literally with coconut oil on the stove, you turn the heat on. As soon as you start to see it liquefy, you turn the heat off and you just keep stirring until it all breaks down. I like to buy the larger size ones. I get them at Costco, pretty inexpensive. But then I also, we keep coconut oil everywhere in the house, so it makes sense to have a few different size jars and containers kicking around. So what we're gonna do here is I've got my melted down coconut oil, and then I've got my doTERRA peppermint oil, and I'm going to put, like I said, about 20-ish drops in. So why I'm adding the peppermint is very invigorating, it's very energizing, it also has cleansing properties, and it's amazing to get. We're gonna open up our next bottle. That's how much I use of that. It's amazing at making your breath smell fresh. So for those of you who are on this holistic journey and are, transitioning from your toothpaste, and maybe now you're using like a fennel-based toothpaste or a toothpaste that doesn't have the mintiness, you might be missing having that fresh flavor in your mouth. This is gonna take care of it for you. Just give it a little swish around so it mixes up. That is it in terms of preparing it. And then all we're gonna do here is pour this into our molds. The nice thing about using the silicone molds is that once you've put this in the fridge or the freezer, it easily pops out. You don't have to worry about being perfect when you do this. If some of the coconut oil kind of goes across the top, don't worry about it. It's just gonna get cold with it. It flicks off. We can still use that in the jar. It's the same thing when you cut this down to smaller pieces. It's not necessarily gonna be a perfectly clean cut. So any of the little parts of the coconut that chip away, don't throw those out. Put your leftover little chips into your glass, because you can just, at the end of it, pour those into your hand when you get to the bottom and pop that on your mouth, and you can still use it. So now what you would do is you've got them poured in here liquid-wise. You're gonna slip this into your fridge or your freezer. Freezer, you're gonna do it for about an hour, no more. Fridge, you would do for maybe 2 up to 3 hours. This is how the finished product comes out. So there's my little coconut peppermint oil little light bulb, which this could be a light bulb moment for you going off of something easy you can do for your health. And then I just cut this size into 4 pieces and store it in the mason jar, and then I store this in the fridge. So when I get up in the morning for the last week and a half, I've been getting up, I've been coming down, I grab my oil chew, I put it into my mouth, I head back up, I do some of my journaling and a little bit of some seated work while I'm swishing around, and it's been a great start to my morning. So here I am sharing one of my tips from my home to yours and from my body to yours, wishing you more simplicity and more ease in all that you do.